and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Get ready to rumble!
We're the Fantasy Addicts, and this is our Week 7 Startem Sitem.
And don't forget, this is the last week of voting for the YouTube Fanalist Contest. Go to youtube.com/fanalists and vote for your voice. Voting ends the 19th. You can vote daily until then. So, first game.
We have San Diego at Buffalo.
San Diego's getting it together. They're putting up points.
This week I like Gates.
Yeah?
Antonio Gates. I think he has a big week this week against Buffalo.
See, he was quiet last week without Chambers. I'm not sure if Chambers is going to be there. Make sure and check his injury status towards the end of the week. The guy I really got right was Vincent Jackson. I thought he was just a big guy, red zone threat, but he's stretching the field.
San Diego, they did a good job of taking away Randy Moss.
Right.
And I think they'll do the same thing to Lee Evans.
Yeah, you say sit him.
So I say sit Lee Evans this week.
Next game is Minnesota-Chicago.
For Minnesota, the only guy I like is Peterson this week. You like Berrien this week?
I do like Berrien. And like I said, for those deep leagues, if you have a bye or something, I like Gus Frerotte this week. You know, I like him. And Roddy White really had a huge game. And so I don't see any reason why Berrien can't do the same. Charles Tillman's a little banged up still. And so I like their whole offense. And I still do like Matt Forte, even though he's the only starter I have in Chicago.
Well, for Chicago, I also like Kyle Orton this week.
Yeah.
If you own Tony Romo like I do, then you had to go out on the waiver wire and pick somebody up. Kyle Orton was the guy I picked up. Next game, we have Pittsburgh and Cincinnati.
Willie Parker's supposed to be back.
I don't like a guy coming back off an injury.
Yeah.
So I actually say the only guys you start from Pittsburgh this week would be Big Ben and Hines Ward.
I do like Hines this week. I didn't have Ben as a definite start. Again, that offensive line is banged up. I don't know that Cincy can get to the quarterback, but if they can, then Big Ben will be rolling around on his back again like he has been.
As for the Bengals, I say you start TJ. He's been the only start that we've called for the Bengals, I think, for the past few weeks.
Yeah.
And I say you stick with it. He's the one guy that's producing anything.
Ryan Fitzpatrick's still in there, you know, and I don't think Kuchman's going to have a huge game, but just because you want to say they got to move the ball somehow at some point, that's who it's going to go to. So that's it from Cincinnati. So everybody else. Next game is Tennessee-KC.
I like Chris Johnson to bounce back with a big game going against Kansas City.
I think you're right. I think he's going to have a huge week. I think Lendell White could even see the end zone in this game. You know, he's never going to have very many yards, so you got to play him against people like Kansas City that you think they're going to put points on. They're going to be all over Brody Croyle, who's coming back this week.
Well, you know, for that reason, I say you sit Larry Johnson this week. If you have LJ and you're looking for a big game, this is not the week.
LJ, take it easy on the ladies. I would start Dwayne Bowe, Tony Gonzalez, just like every week. That's their whole offense and two guys. I think since Brody Croyle is going to be in, they're going to be trying to get the ball out of his hands fast. So that really means Tony Gonzalez should have a big day.
I think Dwayne Bowe, he's going to be matched up against a guy that I'm real big on.
Yeah.
Cortland Finnegan.
Yeah.
And I think
Irishman.
I think Finnegan's gonna take it to him. Right, with the next game, we have Dallas at St. Louis.
Dallas to St. Louis. Man, 2 weeks ago you'd have been like, oh man, it's going to be a slaughter. Not anymore. Tony Romo's out 4 weeks. Felix Jones is out. I'm not sure how long. Dallas did acquire Roy Williams from the Lions for a few draft picks.
That's a major pickup.
It's a major pickup in a few weeks.
St. Louis is a wild card. They beat the Redskins last week. Nobody was expecting that. So that may be the only reason I'm not 100% sold on Brad Johnson.
Right. Of course, you start Barber, T.O., Witten. Say give it a week on Roy Williams. I still like Steven Jackson. You can run on Dallas.
I do not like Torrey Holt in this game. Holt hasn't produced all season.
Nope.
His one big play was a 44-yard touchdown.
Yep.
Other than that, he's done nothing. So I say you sit Torrey Holt. Next game, we have Baltimore at Miami.
All right. So I got Joe Flacco starting this game. And again, people are on bye. You know, you might have the need in a deeper league to start Joe Flacco. Did you see what Matt Schaub did to Miami last week?
That's Matt Schaub.
What's that mean? Matt Schaub is terrible so far.
The only guy I like from Baltimore at all with McGahee getting hurt last week is McClain.
Yeah, Laurent McClain. I like him. You know, he was a goal line back. He should see a lot more carries. I like Derrick Mason, too. He's been a little bit invisible for the last couple weeks. But when they do put the ball in the air, which against Miami, Matt Schaub put 350 on them, I think they can find Mason.
Yeah, I think you start Ronnie for the same reason you start McClain. McClain could see the goal line carries and get the touchdowns.
Yeah.
And Ronnie, same thing. Even if he doesn't get 100 yards, he could get a score, maybe 2. Next game, we have San Francisco at New York Giants. From San Francisco, I have Gore.
Always.
And for the Giants, Jacobs and Plax, just the usual suspects.
Jacobs and Plax. All right, now, you know, I also like Ward because I think the Giants are going to go after him. You know, Ward was getting the ball just as much as Jacobs. I've even got Eli as a start coming back off that dismal performance in Cleveland. I've got, I just said JT O'Sullivan's going to get tore up. Turnovers don't matter as much in fantasy. I even got him as a start. You see what Derek Anderson just did?
I thought about starting JT O'Sullivan, and the turnovers did it for me. I said, there's no way I can do it. It's just he could throw 3 interceptions. He could throw 3 touchdowns, but I don't like taking those chances. With the next game, we have New Orleans at Carolina.
In this game, I have start just about damn everybody. Because I think Breeze will put up 350 like always. I think in a shootout, Jake Delhomme will start putting the ball in there. Steve Smith will get involved. Musa Muhammad. The Carolina running game, the Saints D did stop Adrian Peterson. They did not do so well this week.
Well, what do you think about Deuce? Deuce showed some signs of life.
Man, when I say everybody, I don't know if that includes Deuce. I just haven't bought back into Deuce yet. I used to love Deuce. Look just like me. Look at his profile. All right, next game.
We have Detroit and Houston. With the state of affairs in Detroit, I think the only guy you can even take a shot on at this point is Calvin Johnson.
In this game, Calvin's only starting Detroit, sit everybody else. Rudy Johnson, Kevin Smith, all of them.
I like Andre to have a huge game. It doesn't matter who they start. Sage Rosenfels, Matt Shaw. He's going to work.
He's going to have a huge game, and I don't think it'll be limited to him. I think, like you said, Matt Shaw.
I like Shaw,
Steve
Slayton.
I'd start Kevin Walter. I'd start
Owen Daniels.
It could be ugly.
But the next game we have the Jets at the Raiders.
Raiders. I sat every Raider on the board. What you think?
Well, somebody should be able to score for the Raiders, and if it's anybody, it's going to be Fargas.
All right, for the Jets, though, I think they're going to go to work. I got Dustin Keller starting. You know what I mean? Of course, Coles, Cotchery, Brett, Thomas Jones.
I like those 3. I like Coles, I like Cotchery, and I like Brett this week.
Yeah.
I say if you have Thomas Jones, yes, he did score 3 touchdowns last week. I don't think he does it again this week. Sit Thomas Jones. With the next game, we have Indianapolis at Green Bay. Harrison showed signs of life last week, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think him and Peyton are back on the same page.
Yep. Dominic Rhodes came in and ran really tough. I like him this week in Green Bay. Even if Adai is going to be there, he's not going to get a full workload with a hamstring injury. And there's no guarantees. If he's not playing, Mike Hart's not playing, Dominic Rhodes could get 22, 25 carries.
What about for the Packers?
For the Packers, I like the counterpart of everybody you just named on the Colts. I like Aaron Rodgers.
I like Rodgers.
Like Jennings.
I like Grant. Green Bay's been scoring points all year.
Yep.
And Ryan Grant, has he scored a touchdown yet?
I don't think he's got it
yet. He's yet to cross the goal line. So
right.
I say if you have Grant, you sit him. With the next game, we have Cleveland at Washington.
Ooh, Braylon. Where you been? Where you been, boy? I took the blindfold off and he went to work.
I like Braylon this week. I like Derek Anderson this week. If you drop Derek Anderson, go out right now and pick him back up.
I think all those guys go to work, including Jamal Lewis.
I like Lewis this week.
Yeah, I like Lewis. And keep an eye on Winslow and his swollen balls. His undisclosed injury. Check out his article on the website. It appears that his balls swole up on him, and he ended up in the hospital. So I don't know if you can. We've been laughing about that junk all week, especially the fact that it's been so hush-hush.
For the Redskins, of course, you have to start Clinton Portis. Had a huge game last week. And Santana Moss, I called him a start last week. He didn't show up.
Right.
Just 2 catches. But I think with Washington losing the game, they're going to try to get Santana more involved early this week.
Next game is Seattle versus Tampa Bay.
All right, for Seattle is horrible. I say sit everybody. Don't start anybody. Julius Jones, sit him. Who's starting at quarterback? Fry, Hasselbeck? It doesn't matter.
For Tampa Bay, it doesn't get much prettier. I got either Ward Dunn or Ernest Graham.
Well, I think the Warwick Dunn last week, I think that was a fluke. I don't think you see Ernest Graham playing fullback. They didn't sign him to that contract for him to play fullback. He's going to get carries this week. He scored last week. Start Graham. Garcia
had the game of his life and had 182 yards. And so fantasy-wise, he's garbage. And which makes all his receivers garbage, which makes this game pretty boring fantasy-wise.
Last game, Monday night, we have Denver at New England.
I think some points are getting put on the board in this game, especially by Denver.
Yep. I like Cutler. I like Marshall. I even like Pittman.
With his first 100-yard game since 87. He went to work last week, and so I think Mike Shanahan is going to use him.
Moss was shut down last week, and he's going against a tougher corner, in my opinion, than Champ Bailey. I say sit Moss this week. I think Welker has a big game this week. Look for him to score a touchdown.
Yeah, I have them both as starts. I don't think neither one of them will be big. And Sammy Morris, as much as I hate to say it, if they score a touchdown on the ground, it's Sammy Morris. He always gets 30 yards and a touch, it seems like. And so he's not a very happy start. He's like, all right, I'll start him. So that's Startem Sitem for week 7. Again, don't forget, youtube.com/fanless. Scroll down, little red vote tab. Give us thumbs up once a day till the 19th. Much appreciated.